In this episode of Financial Literacy for Beginners, we're going to talk about why does having more money make some people unhappy. Cue the intro. So this is a topic I've been wanting to talk about for a while. It's something that I've seen a lot, and I wanted to have kind of a documented video about this conversation just as a reference to come back to. So a lot of this conversation that we're going to have is mainly about things that I've seen and things that I've seen that you can do to get past this point. You know, if you're having an issue where, you're making more money, but you're not happy. And for those people that, are from the outside looking in and wondering, why does someone do that? Why is there's such a large population of people who are well off, who have the financial means and have money, but they're not happy? So one of the first things that I've really seen that is a huge factor, a huge component in that is when people are not making money doing what they love, when they're not doing what they really are passionate about, when they're just making money. They've fell into an industry or a situation where they've acquired a lot of money, or they're working at doing something that's really profitable, but it's not really something they love. It's not something they really care about. And that emptiness can eat at you. That emptiness can eat at you. You'll see it where people are successful, or they put on that successful front, and they have everything that would go along with appearing to be successful, the house, the car, trips, whatever those things are that would, make you seem as though you are successful. But when you begin to pull back the layers and really have real conversations with those people, you start to really see how unhappy they are, how, deep down they really don't have anything to really look forward to outside of, okay, I just made another $1 million, or, I just signed another deal, or, or I just went on another trip, I bought another car, and once you do those things over and over and over again, that's for anybody, just like if you ever seen, kids that have everything, you give them every toy, everything they ask about, if you give a child everything they ask about, eventually they get to the point where they're not going to appreciate it and they're not going to be happy with it. You can see it, and it's the same thing with adults. If you haven't really done anything that you really were passionate about, it gets hard to maintain that desire for just making money, unless that is your passion. Some people have a true passion for just making money and the process of making money, and what those things really mean and how to connect those dots. So if that's you, then it's different for people who are like that, and they are making money, so they're fulfilled by that. Now, on the other spectrum of that, I've seen this a lot as well, where you're working too much. People are working too hard for whatever level of wealth that they attain. It's a lot of people that really have pulled themselves up by their bootstraps and really gotten to a level of wealth that, they wouldn't have attained because they may not have come from that situation. And, they got there through a lot of hard work and tenacity. And sometimes that will lead to not really having time to enjoy what you have built. So that is another reason why you'll see people who may on the outside look like they have everything, but they're not happy because, they may be working so hard to maintain, what you're looking at as wealth or what you're looking at as riches. They may be working so hard to maintain that they're not really enjoying it. So don't always take a book by its cover. Don't always look at things and think, oh, their situation is sweet. Why are they acting like that? If I had that, I would be doing this, or if I had what they had, I would be doing that and the third. You never know what people are going through. You never know what issues are underneath the layers of what you're seeing in front of you. So, really give people a break sometimes and really take things into consideration when you are even communicating with people on whatever level, rich or not, rich or poor. I always say, give people the benefit of the doubt and, really have real conversations with people sometimes. And you'll see that sometimes things are different than you understand. Now, the third thing that I see a lot of times is actually fear of success. This is also something that will cause you to be unhappy even if you have money, even if you are, at a point where you are successful and you are doing well financially. If you have a fear of success in the back of your mind, you're always thinking, I'm not worthy of what's happening. And that will cause all kinds of emotional things to happen with you, especially if your wealth is constantly increasing, but you never feel like you are worthy of that, and you never feel like you're at a point where you can enjoy that because you feel it's not real. It's not something that's for you. It's just kind of happening to you, and you don't have any control over it. And that happens a lot of times with people who come from situations that may be a little bit harder and not financially sound and don't really have financial education, but they are thrown into a situation for whatever reason where they get a lot of money at one time. That does happen. Now, the other thing that's common that I've seen is loss of relationships. This can really be a downer for people who value friends, value family, and value those things that they've kind of grown to love in their lives, but they reach a point where their success takes them out of those environments where they had those anchors with people. And it's really hard for people who really have those connections and are built upon those connections to get to the point where those relationships are lost. And sometimes they're lost because people don't grasp where that person is or don't have anything in common anymore with that person who has succeeded and gone beyond whatever level. So that can be hard for people. That can be hard for people who reach that point in their lives and they're seeing those things happen and unfold, and all of those emotions, because in their mind, the emotional attachment that they have to that hasn't changed, but everything else is changing and evolving. So that is one of the things that I have seen that can be really difficult for people who have reached that point, but they are losing those relationships. Now, the last thing, which kind of piggybacks off of that, is the guilt of having more. And it really stems from not really coming from a place where you have an abundance of anything, but you're suddenly in this abundant state of your life. So you may feel guilty about having more than the others around you and the people that you are used to being around. And that can really weigh on a person who's used to having those close connections with people and, really feeding off of that. Some people really feed off that energy of being close to the people they care about. And, if they are feeling guilty about who they are in those situations, that'll always be on the forefront of their mind, which in turn makes them very unhappy. And again, if you are in this situation, if you are ever at that point, just know that, you are who you are, and, you are still capable of being who you are, even though your economic situation may change. That doesn't change your ability and your capacity to care for those around you. And even in that, never feel that you have to be different in that capacity and, give more or less of yourself. Give what you want and give what you feel and be happy for yourself. You have to be happy with yourself so that you can in turn share that happiness with others. I hope this has been extremely helpful for someone. And until we talk again, I wish you health, wealth, and freedom.